and I find it's sort of like, you look at the Twitters and some of the other social spheres where I kind of compare them as being audience-first community, and those are very audience-based. I think just followers on Twitter, a lot of stuff is fast-moving, where Facebook really is community. These are people that will back up, people you can call to action, people that will support you, recommend you, and sort of jump in there. So I think that's where the importance comes in, is it's a really good tool to build real relationships across the board and connect more people.
Yeah, I think the most important reason is probably the sheer size of it. There's, what, 600 million active users on Facebook now? That's twice as many people as are in the United States. So, I mean, if you're not on Facebook, your market is very clearly on Facebook. They might not be there interacting with brands or marketers yet. They will be, and they're definitely already there, so why aren't you? And your competitors are as well. And one of the things we ask people about is, how do you feel, essentially, we're a B2B company, we do a lot of lead generation, and so how do you feel, we ask people in focus groups, how do you feel being marketed to for lead generation purposes essentially on Twitter? And people are pretty much okay with it, because if they followed you, they're following you for a reason and they know the information you're putting out, and that's why they followed you and they want to get that. With Facebook, on the other hand, there's a lot of scams on Facebook, and they're not really on Facebook to be marketed to, they're on Facebook to interact with their friends. So for brands, they need to understand that instead of doing the things that may work on Twitter or in more traditional marketing and advertising, you need to do things to sort of facilitate existing social behaviors. Right, so if the average person on Facebook has 130 friends, that means every time you're doing something on Facebook, you're performing. You're in front of 130 people, which is maybe a little less than the people in this room, I think. And so I'm on stage right now, right? I'm performing. I wouldn't do something right now if I didn't want to express myself with it, if it wasn't something that I wanted you guys to see me do. And so brands need to understand that they need to help their fans look cool in social media, and Facebook specifically.
I think with the brands, I'm so into the humanizing of it, and with my new position, I'm going to the other hotels and trying to train these staff members from the GM down how to use these tools. And the one thing I'm really going through right now is to get them all using the tools personally, because that's where the power of it comes through. Like like Dan was saying, as a brand, if some brand just kept hitting me up, because now with the new pages, you can actually talk as the brand. It doesn't come out as you. You can click over and be the brand. I don't want that unless I know somebody who's talking from that brand. So, from the concierge to the bellman to the people in the kitchen, if they start telling their community of people, hey, here's the brand I work with, I'm proud of it, then when that brand sort of comes through the stream, there's a personal connection to it. So I think the power of it comes in there, and I think it's important for people to see that internally first. It's business specific. A friend of mine just started working at Pepsi, who's got whatever, 1 million+ followers. I mean, his job he wasn't charged with, hey, get us more followers. I mean, in a way, they do want that number to grow, but to him, it's more about content, like putting up those exclusive Snoop videos that are only branded through Pepsi, that you've got to like their page to go see and stuff. So versus me with a small business in a hotel, it is more about personal messages and getting more of those personal people. So again, it's very business specific.
So I do think there is one metric that any marketer or any business person ever should be looking at first and foremost, and if you're not looking at this, you're doing something wrong. That's how much money what you're doing is making you. Right? If it doesn't make dollars, it don't make sense. If you're measuring something else and you're not measuring how much money your Facebook page or your Twitter account is making you, like, something's wrong. Right? And maybe that's the number of leads, maybe that's the number of customers, whatever it is. Maybe it's ad clicks if you're selling ads, whatever it is. If you're not measuring the amount of money you're making, you're doing something wrong. And then once you're doing that, then you can start to look at, I call them canary metrics, essentially. So canary in the coal mine, they're sort of early indicators that you're going to make money. So stuff like traffic you drive into your site, followers, retweets, likes, engagement on your page, sort of comments, things like that. I think those are all interesting. Precursor metrics, essentially, sort of leading metrics. And then once you have an understanding of how those two interact, you can kind of understand, okay, well, for every, X number of followers we get, we generally generate a new sale or a new lead, right? And so that's how you should start to think about these things in real dollars and cents.
I do look for involvement. I mean, from Facebook to the Twitter side, that I've always said that the numbers aren't important, but there is a level of participation that is. Somebody shoots 130 at golf and wants to give you lessons, that's probably not going to be a very good lesson. If this person shoots 80 and wants to give you lessons, okay, they're not a pro, but all right, this guy's at least in the game, he plays it, I can learn something from him. Same with this space. If you're not following other brands on Facebook and you're not active in conversations, and I don't see a lot of back and forth, then you're probably not going to be a big supporter or contributor to our side of it either.